The January 6th committee is negotiating with a star witness, Rudy Giuliani, and members of the panel are voicing hope he cooperates. Giuliani was scheduled to appear before the committee last week, but that was postponed because of these ongoing discussions. Remember, we all know he was a key lieutenant, a Trump lieutenant, in spreading the big lie and recruiting allies in key states and here in Washington to try to block certification of the election. So Giuliani could be a breakthrough witness. Our panel of reporters back with us to discuss. I say could be because I'm sorry, I'm skeptical. I just want to read from the New York Times. This is the New York Times. Mr. Giuliani, through his lawyer, has signaled to the committee that he plans to take a less confrontational stance toward the request than some other members of Mr. Trump's inner circle. That would be a breakthrough witness if you could get it. But really?
Also, what does less confrontational mean? It means I'm not going to force you to subpoena me, but I'll come in and I won't answer any of your questions. I mean, can you imagine a scenario where he doesn't claim attorney-client privilege, or, you could even see a scenario where he would claim, executive privilege, even though there would be absolutely no basis for it since he didn't actually work in the White House. The point being that it would be very surprising if he gave up anything to them, unless there is some larger case that he's thinking about where he's looking out for his own immunity, but I don't see him making that deal with Congress. That's not where you make it, because he's got bigger fish to fry.
And he is involved with everybody, including the former president, but then also all of the, I'm going to call them a group of lawyers. They don't really, their own version of law. From election night through inauguration day, including just last week, the Washington Post headline, Giuliani asked Michigan prosecutor to give voting machines hey, can you just turn over your voting machines to us? Yeah, we're trying to ginny up some fraud. But he knows everything about everything, essentially. He was involved anyway. He knows a lot from election day through inauguration day. If he would cooperate, wow, for the committee, but I'm just skeptical.
Well, and to your point, once you start talking, it's a lot harder to stop talking during some of those committees. But at the same time, you also have to look at the way Republicans are looking at this. And even those Republicans who are allies of Trump have long said that they want to distance themselves from Rudy Giuliani on this, right? They think that he did a real disservice to the former president on this, and certainly don't want to hear him or anyone else tying this back to the Senate races we were talking about before, out there talking about how the election was stolen and all of these things. They don't find that particularly helpful to their argument about why the GOP should retake control.
Right. Which I get people say that, but we should also be clear, there's no evidence that he didn't have the former president's support the entire time throughout what he was doing. So, yes, he did him a disservice because he should have said no. So let's listen to Adam Kinzinger. He's one of the two Republicans on the committee. He says yes, would be a good witness, but listen to the back half of this.
We fully expect that in accordance with the law, we'll hear from Rudy. But look, regardless of when we hear from Rudy or how long that interview is, we're getting a lot of information, and we're looking forward to wrapping this up at some point when that is right, showing it to the American people, but not rushing it, not hurrying this. We want everybody to have the full story.
Number one, we're looking forward to wrapping this up. He understands mostly Democrats in the committee, but two Republicans. There's an election this year. Yep. And so if the Democrats lose the House, then this committee goes away or the Republicans turn it into something very different. He seems to be indicating there, we'll negotiate with Giuliani. We'll negotiate, maybe fight some court battles with a couple other people. But there's a date. They have a date in the back of their mind somewhere that we're done, because we got to start building a report and having public hearings.
I think that they very clearly have a timeline. They haven't explicitly laid it out. I think Adam Kinzinger is not going to be in Congress next year. Liz Cheney may not be in Congress after the midterms, which is obviously still up in the air. I think one thing that he hinted at, which we've all heard a lot, we don't have the full sense of right now, is, they've had interviews with roughly 500 people, right? They've gotten millions of documents. Every once in a while, every couple of weeks, something kind of leaks out that they've gotten or that lawyers have handed over to them. That gives you a sense. We learn more about something that we thought we knew everything about almost every other week right now. So if that's what we're seeing in the public domain, imagine what they have in the private domain. I think that the interviews themselves are helpful. It's certainly, in Rudy's case, given how central he was to all these things, it would be a critical witness, no question about it. I think they know a lot about a lot that we don't even know about at this point in time. And I think Kinzinger kind of hinted at that there. If he wants to come in, that's great. If he doesn't, we're pretty good right now.
Well, they're doing what you do every day as a reporter. Sure, you'd like to talk to the chief of staff, but you talk to the chief of staff's assistant or deputy, they know things too. The people who see the documents, hold the documents, move the schedule along, that's where they've had great success.